Welcome to Teaching Mastery Academy, the podcast that equips course creators with the tools, insights, and strategies to teach with confidence, create real impact, and become the go-to experts in their industries. I'm your host, Francesca Hudson, CEO of the Classic High School Teacher and Teaching Mastery Academy. If you've ever felt that your content is powerful, but you're not reaching your audience the way you want, or if you're ready to master the art of teaching and elevate your courses to new heights, you're in the right place, my friends. Each episode, we'll dive into the science of how people learn, explore innovative teaching methods, and uncover the best ways to transform your knowledge into engaging, life-changing experiences for your students. Whether you're just getting started or you've been in the game for years, I'm here to help you craft lessons that resonate, connect with your audience on a deeper level, and ultimately create the abundance and the success that you deserve. Are you ready to become the best teacher in your field? Then let's get started. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Teaching Mastery Academy. I'm your host, Francesca Hudson, and today we're talking about a topic that gets right to the heart of why we do what we do as course creators. You want to know what it is? Here it is. Your knowledge is a luxury, but packaging it into a premium course transforms it into a legacy. I'm going to show you how today. This isn't just about creating another course or boosting your revenue. This is about creating something that lasts. Something that impacts lives, grows beyond you, and becomes a true cornerstone of your legacy. We are going to look at actionable insights, strategies, and fresh perspectives that go far beyond the usual tips you hear about course creation. It's such an exciting episode. I have been wanting to record this episode for a long time. So grab your favorite drink, find a comfy spot, and let's unlock the potential of turning your expertise into something truly extraordinary. Let's start by breaking this idea down, this legacy idea. Your knowledge is valuable. We know this. It's the culmination of your experiences, your skills, and your unique perspective. But here's the thing. Knowledge on its own is fleeting. It lives in conversations, blog posts, social media captions, or even free webinars. A legacy, on the other hand, is intentional. It's about taking that knowledge and structuring it in a way that not only delivers value, but also creates transformation for your students. A legacy is built when your work becomes timeless, when it becomes scalable and impactful. Most course creators start with one question: what can I teach? And while that's important, I want you to flip the script. Instead, I want you to ask yourself, what transformation do I want to create? What will people remember about my work years from now? And how can my course solve a problem in a way no one else has done before? These three questions push you to think about the bigger picture. And when you focus on the transformation, not just the transaction, you're building a course that has the power to outlive trends, outlive algorithms, and even you. So let's talk about why knowledge, as powerful as it is, has its limitations. I want you to think about this. You've probably scrolled through social media or watched a YouTube tutorial and thought, wow, that's great information. That's very generous of the course creator to share this with me. But did you act on it? Did it change your life? The reality is, free-floating knowledge often doesn't lead to action. Why? Because it's not packaged for transformation. Knowledge without application can be overwhelming or even paralyzing for your audience. We are in a world of information overload. We are bombarded with information wherever we turn throughout our day. Now, your audience might think, that's great that you're sharing this information with me, but where do I start with it? How do I use it? So here's my little insight for you. When you package your knowledge into a premium course, you're creating a roadmap. You're giving your students structure, clarity, and the confidence to take action. And the key word in this is premium. We're not just talking about any old course. We're looking at how do you take your existing course if you've got one, or you're thinking about getting into course creation and you'd like to create a course. How do we create that premium? How do we create a course that your students are actually going to take action on. So this leads us to legacy. And legacy, in contrast to knowledge, is all about creating something that stands the test of time. It's about building a reputation, it's about building a community and a system that continues to deliver value long after the course ends. And here's an example to show you what I mean. I want you to imagine creating a course that becomes the go-to resource in your niche. People recommend it to their peers. It's referenced in blog posts. It's mentioned in podcasts, and it's shared in communities. Now that is a legacy. That is what we are all aspiring to as course creators. So let me share a story about one of my students, Emma. Now, Emma started with a simple course teaching women how to start their first freelance business. And she quickly realized that while the knowledge she shared was helpful, it wasn't enough for her students. Her students needed support to actually implement what they were learning. So Emma shifted her focus and she started thinking about how her course could create lasting change. She added accountability check-ins, she introduced real-life case studies, and she built a thriving community where her students could share their wins and their challenges. And today, Emma's course is more than just a one-off product. It's a movement. Her students not only succeed, but also they refer others to her program because they believe in its impact. Now, that's the power of legacy thinking. Don't just stop at delivering information. Ask yourself, how can I ensure my students use what I teach to create real results? Get creative. Get big picture thinking. Because when we think about building a legacy, it's not just about numbers or scalability, it's also deeply emotional. It's about how your work makes people feel, how it inspires them, and how it becomes part of their journey. To show you what I mean, think about your favorite teacher or mentor. What made them memorable? It wasn't just their knowledge, it was the way they made you feel seen, supported, and capable. We all have favorite teachers that stand out in our memories, that no matter how old we get or how far past education and school we get, we always remember these teachers in our memories. Now, you can bring that same energy. And why was that? Why do they stand out to us? Well, we know that memories that have highly charged emotion last the longest. We remember them because they're tied to emotion. So think about what type of emotions did these memories trigger for you? Why are these teachers so memorable and their learning is so memorable? And you can bring that same energy into your course. And here's how. Think about personalization. You can use tools like surveys or welcome calls to understand your students' goals and to tailor their experience right at the very start of the course. So think about your onboarding experience. Think about how you onboard students into your course. And is there any way that you can make that more personalized? Think about encouragement. So throughout the course, celebrate their wins, no matter how small. A simple acknowledgement can go a long way in boosting their confidence. And remember, you can do this for evergreen courses as well as live courses. You can have milestones at the end of a lesson or the end of a module that they have a maybe like a free download or a certificate or just an email that goes out to them to give them a well done. So think about encouragement. How can you increase encouragement in your course? And the third way is to look at empathy. So anticipate the challenges that your students might face as they complete your course and provide solutions before they even ask. Think about commonly asked questions that you get asked a lot by students and how can you incorporate the answers into the course where you know that people are going to find a certain lesson really tricky, or maybe they're halfway through the course and they're beginning to lose motivation. So really use those empathetic skills to fine-tune your course. And here's something powerful to remember. Your course isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's the catalyst for bigger transformations in your students' lives. For example, if your course teaches someone how to start a business, that knowledge can ripple out to impact their family, their community, and even future generations. When you think about it that way, the work you're doing becomes so much bigger than just a course. So think about when designing your course, think about the ripple effects. How does the transformation that you're offering extend beyond your students? How will it affect the rest of their life? What will that ripple effect be in their family, in their community, in their profession, in the efficiency, the way that things are able to operate. There is always a ripple effect, and I don't think the ripple effect gets talked about or thought about enough when it comes to thinking about how do we structure our courses and teach our course content. So let's get practical for a moment. To build a course that leaves a legacy, you need a framework that supports long-term impact. And here are 3 pillars I'd like you to focus on when you're thinking about designing a course to leave a legacy. The 3 pillars. The first one is vision. So your vision is the North Star of your course. It's what guides your content, it's what guides your delivery, and it's what guides your student experience. So take time to articulate to yourself as you're driving, listening to this podcast or sitting at home, what is it that you want your students to achieve? How do you want them to feel during and after the course? And what do you want your course to be known for? I'll say those 3 questions again because they're really important. What do you want your students to achieve? That's the transformation. What is it that you want your students to have walked away from your course with? How do they experience the transformation? How do you want them to feel during and after the course? So we're talking about, are you building in enough small wins during the course that they feel like they're making progress or they're able to measure their progress? And after the course, is there a clear before and after that they go through? And what do you want your course to be known for? In other words, if you become the go-to in your niche, what is it that you want to become the go-to for? What expert do you want to turn into? So think about these 3 vision questions. They're really, really important. Now, the second pillar that you need to focus on if you want to create a course that leaves a legacy is value. Legacy courses deliver value at every stage. This means providing clarity. So you need to make sure that you have very clear instructions and actionable steps throughout your course, in every lesson, in every module, in every touch point that you have with your students, whether it's an email or whether it's the actual description on the Kajabi login when they log into the lesson, or maybe it's a worksheet that they download. So be really, really super clear with your instructions and the way that you would like your students to move through the lessons, the activities, the actionable steps. The second thing is to have support. So ensure that you've got resources like workbooks, templates, frameworks, or even live Q&A sessions if that's what you're offering. But make sure that you have got that additional support there that really scaffolds the learning that they're getting within the video that they've just watched in your course or listened to. And the third point to think about when it comes to value is the engagement. And make sure that you've got interactive elements built into your course that keep your students motivated. Mini games, quizzes, little surprise free downloadable gifts, all of these sorts of things keeps student engagement high, which means that your students feel like they're getting real value for money. So that's the second pillar, value. So we've got the first pillar was vision, the second pillar is value, and the third pillar is longevity. Now, a legacy course isn't static. It evolves over time based on feedback and changing needs and knowing what works and what doesn't. Cut a module here, add a module there, that type of thing. So when designing your course, you want to ensure you're building in systems for regular updates to keep the content relevant. Always make sure that you're moving with the times. You're teaching the most up-to-date, relevant content that your students are going to find most useful for your niche or for the course topic that you're teaching. You don't just build a course once and then let it collect dust, think it's on evergreen, think, oh great, I've built this project that's going to run on autopilot and I don't have to touch it again. It's still a living, breathing document. It's a living, breathing input into society that always needs to be monitored and tweaked. So make sure you have got a built-in system to make sure you've got your regular updates to keep your content relevant. Make sure that the alumni engagement, these are the students that have finished your course, can still work with you. There's still options there to give them support through advanced courses or memberships, something that they can go on to so that they feel like they're able to continue their journey with you. And think about the metrics to track your course's long-term impact. What would those metrics look like? Does it come in the form of testimonials or alumni students coming back and and becoming mentors, or think about some different ways that you can track your course and how it's making an impact on the world, because that will also give you insight into future courses or advanced courses that you can do down the track, knowing what needs to be taught next once your students have completed this course. So those 3 pillars are super important for a course built for legacy. They are vision, value, and longevity. And I think that if you are designing a course with those 3 pillars in mind, you are off to a great start. So let's bring this home. Your knowledge is a gift, but when you structure it into a premium course, you're creating something that lasts. You're creating that legacy. By focusing on transformation, emotional connection, and long-term impact, you can build a course that not only changes lives, but also cements your legacy as a thought leader. How good. So let's pivot slightly and look into how we are going to design a premium experience that elevates every aspect of your course. Trust me, you do not want to miss this next part. So we've all heard of the term premium, but let's unpack what it really means in the context of your course. Premium isn't just about pricing high, it's about delivering exceptional value, an elevated experience, if you like, and unmatched results. It's the equivalent of going from economy class to first class in a plane. You're turning left, not right, when you enter the plane. And here at Teaching Mastery Academy, we want to create that experience for our students. So, premium courses prioritize the student journey at every touch point. This means thinking just beyond content delivery. You've got to go a lot deeper than that. And here are some unique ways to elevate your course experience. Let me give you some help. The first one is transformative milestones. So, when you're sitting down to plan out your course, structure it around key milestones. Celebrate these with your students through progress badges, shout-outs in your community, or personalised emails, because these milestones will keep your students engaged and excited about their progress. You can also think about unconventional touch points. Get creative with the touch points. You can add surprise and delight. For example, send a welcome box with physical resources if you're so able to, or surprise your students with a bonus Q&A session halfway through, which is a virtual touch point. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to spend any money at all. You're just adding extra value as a surprise to your students, because these moments make your course memorable, but also your student will feel they're getting real value from you. So always think about unconventional touch points. And finally, think about lifetime learning opportunities. Never, ever, ever forget your alumni students, and consider offering alumni perks like discounted access to future courses or invitations to exclusive masterminds, because premium students want to feel like they're part of an elite community, not just a transaction. And this can work for evergreen courses or live courses. It doesn't matter. The way that you teach your course, whether it is pre-recorded or live, it actually doesn't matter. It's more about the experience that your students get as they go through the course. So that doesn't stop when they finish. Lifetime learning opportunities is so important and so crucial for premium students, because they are hungry to learn. They're here to learn. They're here for it all. So think about those learning opportunities, those lifetime learning opportunities for your alumni students. Now, the way that your course is packaged influences how students perceive its value. So think about branding. Your visuals, your language, your design should reflect the premium nature of your offer. Don't have to spend a lot of money on this either. You can use free resources like Canva, but the key here is being consistent with your message, being consistent with the colors that you use in your branding, being consistent with the fonts that you use, being consistent with the language, the type of language that you use, your approachability. All of it should reflect your unique voice and your brand image, and it should be consistent like that. And think about access as well. So premium courses often come with unique access to you, like live coaching calls or office hours. But if that's not possible, then think about other access points like Q&A sessions or additional frameworks or templates that students can use, done for you resources that they can plug and play into their own courses. So the access has to be at a level where things are done for them, or they are easy to use. In other words, people are willing to invest in a course if they feel the experience will match or exceed their expectations. So curate every detail to communicate that their investment is worth it and that they are, as a student, not just a number to you. They are the most important person. They are the center of everything that you do as a teacher and a course creator is designed around them, not the other way around. If we're putting our students at the center of our course creation, then we need to make sure that we're building transformation into your curriculum. So into your course, okay? Into the course that you're going to sell. That course, we break down into modules, break the modules down into lessons. That whole course is called a curriculum. And here's where we get into the nitty-gritty of designing for impact. A legacy course isn't built around surface level wins. It's built to deliver deep, meaningful transformation. And I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'd like you to think about transformation in levels. And I have 3 levels that I teach students for transformation. And the first level is tangible wins. So these are measurable results. For example, a student writes their first blog post, books their first client, or completes a project. So these are quick wins that build momentum. That's the first base level. And then we have the second level, which is behavioral shifts. And this is where students start adopting new habits or mindsets. And maybe they become more consistent in their work, or they overcome the imposter syndrome that has held them back for so long. So we're really beginning to tap into the subconscious with these behavioral shifts and really changing your identity in the way that you show up to teach, in the way that you value the content that you're teaching, and the transformations that you know that you can deliver for your students. And then the third level of transformation is identity transformation. Now, this is the ultimate goal for your students, which is to see themselves differently. And this could mean going from I'm trying to run a business to I am a confident entrepreneur. So identity transformation is the biggest shift of all, and it's the most long-lasting shift. But it's not easy, and it requires a complete identity shift. Now, as teachers, we're not psychologists. So how do we do this? How do we get this long-term lasting transformation? Well, to create lasting transformation, you need to design your curriculum, your course, with intentionality. So ask yourself, what foundational knowledge do they need? Okay, so that's level 1. What are the tangible wins? If they learn nothing else from this course, what is the very base level knowledge that they need? What's the foundational knowledge? Then think about what challenges your students will face and how can you support them through those challenges. So as you get deeper into the course and you start to teach more advanced information or knowledge, how can you support them through some of those speed bumps that they might have, or lack of faith, or feeling like it's too hard for them or it's too much of a commitment? So what are the challenges that your students are going to face as they go through your course, and how can you support them through it? And then finally think about what tools or frameworks you can give them to make progress faster. Remember, we are all time poor, our attention spans are short, so what can you do? What can you offer as a course creator, as a teacher, to help them make progress faster? And that will come in the form of tools or frameworks or templates or anything like that they can use, they can plug and play into their own life. So one way to do this is by incorporating application-based learning. Fancy term, I know, but I'll give you an example. So instead of just teaching a concept, create an assignment where students implement it in real time. So they are learning it for themselves, experiential learning. Then you can provide feedback so they can refine their approach. So rather than just sort of basically standing and talk, you are giving them a small piece of information and then they are applying it themselves, and then you are giving them the feedback. So it's that almost like a tennis match where it goes back and forth between you and the students. And the more you connect what you teach to real world application, the more your students will see tangible results for themselves and they will rave about your course. Now, if you want your course to truly leave a legacy, you need to master the art of storytelling. And We all love stories. Stories create connection, they inspire action, and they make your content memorable. Every premium course should have a core narrative that ties everything together. Core narrative. Think about that. Premium course, core narrative. This isn't just your why for creating the course, it's the story that connects your students to the transformation that you're offering. So you can do this in two ways. You can look at your origin story, your own personal story, share the journey that led you to create this course. What challenges did you overcome? What insights did you gain? People find origin stories so relatable because if they understand the pain and the hurdles and life's challenges that you overcame, they can see themselves in their origin story and they know that it's possible for them as well. So origin stories are so important. And I often think about my own story and about how I got to the point where I am now with Teaching Mastery Academy. And I started in the digital course space over 10 years ago, 2012, I think it was, with my first digital product. And I've still got it to this day. But I went through huge phases of lack of confidence or shiny object syndrome where you're thinking, oh, maybe I should totally pivot and do something different. You know, the grass is always greener on the other side. I mean, I was working with my husband for many years, which is completely opposite to education. So I have been there, done that. And I know that it's coming back to what I love, where my heart is, which is education. It's helping people. It's teaching people how to teach. Being able to give the gift of teaching to others is truly a passion in my calling. It's where my heart is, but it's taken you 10 years to get here to find that calling. And sometimes it's not an overnight success situation where you have this idea, you go out and create a course and you're a millionaire tomorrow. It can take many years to get there. And so I think when you can share your origin story with your listeners, with your students, then they will appreciate that vulnerability that you're sharing and they will understand and they will see parts of themselves in that story. So origin stories, super important. And the other one is success stories. So you highlight real examples of students who have achieved amazing results through your methods, testimonials. You might even get past students to come back and be mentors as part of your community. So you really can think about how to start developing your core narrative. Super important. And don't just tell your story once and leave it. Integrate storytelling into your lessons, into your emails, and your community interactions. You can use case studies to illustrate key concepts that you're teaching in a lesson, or you could share personal anecdotes in your video lessons to humanize the content, or you could create a hero's journey framework where your students become the heroes of their own stories, which is really cool. And I will go more into that in a future podcast episode. But the key point with all of this is that people remember stories, not stats, not statistics. So use storytelling as a way to anchor your lessons and inspire your students to take action. Now, once you've created a course that delivers transformation, the next step is scaling it to reach more students. Scaling isn't just about selling more, it's about extending your impact. And the key to that is automation. But it needs to feel personal. And here's how to strike the balance when you are looking at automation to scale. Look at interactive elements. So look at using quizzes, polls, or interactive video features to keep your students engaged. And I talk about this a lot in different podcast episodes, in my emails, and we go into it in depth in Teaching Mastery Academy. But looking at how to make evergreen courses interactive with using these elements is such an important task, such an important skill, especially when it comes to scaling. Think about pre-recorded content versus live touch points. So you can combine pre-recorded lessons, for example, with maybe a live Q&A session at the end of the module to give your students the best of both worlds. Think about how you can balance both. Or even if you have got an evergreen course that's running throughout the year, you could do every so often a live Q&A on social media where people just jump in, or you could maybe send out an invite to your subscribers list, your email list, to say you're going to be doing a random Q&A session coming up. You know, so just keep content fresh, keep those touch points fresh. And also think about community-led support. So create a peer-driven community if you haven't already done so, maybe on Facebook, or I know Kajabi has communities, so your particular software that you're using might have that feature where students can support and learn from each other, even if you're not there 24/7. In fact, it's actually better if you're not there 24/7 because the whole idea of peer support is incredibly powerful and it's incredibly motivating for students to support each other on. So community-led support is a big one. Getting back to your legacy for a minute, it's not just about one course, it's about the ecosystem that you built around it. So consider writing a book to complement your course, or consider hosting live events or masterminds or retreats to complement your course, or think about offering certifications so students can teach your methods to others. You can really get creative about how to expand beyond just the course offering. And the more avenues you create for students to stay connected to your brand, the stronger your legacy will become. All right, friends, let's wrap this up because we have covered quite a lot today. And we know that knowledge is a luxury. But when you package it into a premium course, you're creating a legacy that will impact lives for years to come. And knowledge is a luxury, but it's a luxury in easy, accessible demand at the moment. Anybody can Google, anybody can go on ChatGPT, and we need to start elevating our offering to premium. So here's what I want you to do next. Reflect on how your course can create deeper transformation. Think about what will make your students not only succeed, but thrive. And remember, this isn't just about revenue. It's about creating something timeless. Because in times to come, my friend, when AI and knowledge becomes even more and more and more accessible and easy, then we really do need to ensure that what we are offering as course creators is that next step above, is that premium experience for our students. So as always, thank you for joining me today. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend or tag me on Instagram at Teaching Mastery Academy. Let's inspire each other to build courses that really matter. Until next time, keep teaching, keep inspiring, and keep building your legacy. Bye for now. That's a wrap for today's episode of Teaching Mastery Academy. I hope you walked away with actionable insights and new ideas that will elevate your teaching and help you create courses that truly resonate with your students. If you enjoyed this episode and want to keep the momentum going, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a beat. And if you found value in today's conversation, I'd love it if you could leave a 5-star review. It helps other course creators like you discover the show and join this amazing community of educators. For more tips, resources, and exclusive content, make sure to click on the link in my show notes. I've got a ton of freebies and tools waiting for you. You can also follow me on Instagram at Teaching Mastery Academy for daily inspiration and behind-the-scenes updates. Remember, my friend, becoming a master teacher is a journey, and I'm here with you every step of the way. Until next time, keep teaching, keep creating, and keep changing lives.